It's sports radio, so expect the lowest form of name-calling. But this week, WEEI fill-in host Gary Tanguay stormed out of the studio when he apparently felt the ribbing got out of hand. Management says Tanguay overreacted. You be the judge.
It all began with a discussion about coaching your own kids. Gary Tanguay doesn't think it's a good idea. And WEEI morning guy Jerry Callahan started razzing him about it.
It's not healthy to coach your own kid.
That's called a juicy rationalization.
No,
Gary. Yes, it is.
No, you should not coach your own kid.
Let's talk
The sparring went on for a few minutes. Then came this call.
I think Gary would make an excellent coach, like maybe for someone like Joe Paterno.
Yeah.
or any Catholic boys team.
Then Jerry Callahan and Kirk Menahan also started tossing pedophile jokes at Tanguay.
It's a legitimate medical illness. You're attracted to younger kids. Will you guys stop that?
It's not a choice.
I mean,
that isn't even
treatment
funny.
for that.
I mean,
there's places you
that
can
isn't
go.
even funny.
Then a control room producer introduced some sound from convicted pedophile and former Penn State football coach Jerry Sandusky.
I have horsed around with
could you wear
kids.
the shorts like they did
You
in the
guys
80s?
cut it
those
out.
little
I mean,
tight
really,
shorts?
this is ridiculous. You're joking about
Cup
pedophilia.
check.
This is not funny.
It went on for another minute or so until Tanguay apparently had enough.
Let's talk
This is
to
not
Andrew.
funny.
Andrew
You're
and Danvers.
You're
This is
legitimately
just-
upset? There's the door. Do what you did last time. Leave.
right.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Good. Get out of here.
He just broke his headphones.
Go. Be a baby and leave.
Initially, WEEI VP Phil Zachary told Beat the Press no one directly called Tanguay a pedophile, and that what snapped him was being called a bad parent for not coaching his kids. But in a follow-up conversation, Zachary said he doesn't know why Tanguay left, but added it's the second time he's walked out. Zachary ended on this note, "That's the kind of kindergarten I run over here."
All right, first of all, Gary Tanguay did not respond to our call for a comment. He just said he had no comment at this time. But there was a sanitized version of this exchange that was put up on the WEEI website. When I asked Phil Zachary about that, he said, there is nothing funny about pedophilia, so we wanted to take that out of the discussion, which of course changed the whole tenor and tone of it. Meanwhile, of course, Minahan and Callahan thought the whole pedophilia thing was hilarious. In fact, they've been ragging on Gary Tanguay for the rest of the week for storming out. Now, it was also positioned as a meltdown and an overreaction by Phil Zachary. I didn't have that sense coming away. I mean, I wasn't in the studio when it happened, but it didn't feel that way. On the other hand, I would say it is never a good idea to storm off a set or storm out of a studio. Stay and face it. He should have dealt with it after the fact.
I mean, I can't fault him for getting up and walking out. If I imagine myself in that situation, getting the jokes about how I, love young kids or whatever thrown at me again and again and again, I'm not sure I would have stuck around. I would say that, it might not have been a total surprise to Gary Tanguay that he'd get this sort of thing because, in a way, this is their stock in trade, right? As Phil Zachary said, he had walked off the set previously when I think on air they broke the news to him that he wasn't going to be on every day the following week, that he was just going to be on a few days, and he didn't like it. But I don't get why they wouldn't just put up the full exchange as opposed to what they labeled the management-mandated sanitized version. We were able to get the full thing just via Twitter. I sent out a tweet saying, hey, did anyone hear this? And someone wrote back and gave me an audio file. God bless Twitter and the internet.
If he didn't storm out because of the pedophilia thing, then just put it up.
Right. And I think it's clear that's why he did take it.
I think he lost an opportunity to tell them all to grow the hell up and
Well, he
stop
did do it.
junking. Well, he did to an extent, but what's coming out now, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing this kind of back and forth about why he had a tantrum when I would be fed up with that kind of treatment in the studio and that kind of joking.
Not
it's
to
just
go
not
on
clever.
too long. I mean, what he said to them, and we didn't put it in the package, but you can hear. I tweeted out the full audio today. He says at one point, you guys don't have any substantive argument to come back at me with, as I argue that parents shouldn't coach their own kids, and so you're doing this stuff. It's ridiculous. So he said that in so many words, he did try to take that back.
I've got to say, I don't really blame him for drawing the line at a joke that he felt like had gone on too far and was not funny. And I don't count this as a tantrum. This didn't sound like a, I hate you guys and I'm mad as hell. And I mean, he said in no uncertain terms, this isn't funny. I'm done. And he was done. And it was hard to keep my eyes from rolling as I heard that audio. I mean, it really is, yes, talk radio pushes many a joke too far. And yes, you always have a better chance of not being attacked if you're on the phone or in the room as opposed to being absent. I mean, that's where...
Tune in Monday about this.
If he thought this would stop it, it wasn't going to happen. But saying, hey, I personally draw the line, I think there's some integrity there.
Pretty funny stuff, huh? maybe Gary Tanguay decided to walk out and never come back. And if that's the case, I say good for him. I mean, this was pretty reprehensible. I don't know how it can be anybody's idea of humor. And I'm not an expert on Gary Tanguay. I've heard him from time to time. It seems to me that he's a fairly traditional sports radio guy, and he may just have felt that I just don't want to be part of this, and I can't say I blame him.
Yeah, I can't imagine we have heard the absolute end of it. Maybe we have. I mean, are they going to call him back and have him fill in? Apparently, he says their ratings went up while he was there. So
if they call him back and he goes back in, then my sympathy for him will retroactively diminish because he'll be walking into
setting yourself up for it again.
Yep, totally.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, a job's a job.